Hello everyone and welcome to this final game of the EGL League of Legends Championships Summoners Cup number 22. I am Sona and my co-caster is Hindu Man, and we're just about to get into the picks and bans here.
Yes, we are. As soon as the team's pressed the click button. Hooray!
Click the button. Excellent. Excellent. So, Hindu Man, what do you think is going to happen here? How do you think things are going to go down?
Well, after seeing the last game, I believe it was DFM we just watched, I think they'll go for the 50-minute stall into the end game shove and win for both games. Whereas we did find out, though, that Riven Please, in fact, did just defeat Numero Uno. So this could be very interesting. Numero Uno are reigning champions for the longest time I can imagine.
Sorry, my overlays just switched around ever so slightly there, but we are sorted again. Yes, they have been our reigning champions for ages, and it's a bit of a shame we didn't get to watch that match between Riven Please and Numero Uno. But we are going to go and see this finals, which is I'm very excited for. I know you are as well, Indy Man. It should be exciting.
Yeah, hopefully we should see some good play between the two teams. Like I said, we did see Death Faction Gaming manage to stall out for a long time after being really far behind for the longest times in the last game. So we'll see if they can actually, put up another great fight like they did last game. On the meantime, we'll hopefully Riven Please must have a pretty good show to put on for us, considering of the Numero Uno takedown they did today.
Well, yeah, Numero Uno are reigning champions for 4, I think it was either 3 or 4 consecutive Summoners Cups, so I'm really looking forward to see what their defeaters, their conquerors is the word.
Their defeaters, wow.
What their conquerors are going to be able to show us on the wrist.
Your English is embarrassing.
We see at least okay, look, let's get into picks and bans here, Hindu Man, and we can mock my English later. See, at least Kha'Zix, Gragas, Vi, Yasuo, and Kayle being locked out of this game. Kassadin's still available now. Are we going to see that locked in straight away?
It's a possibility, but we didn't see it locked in the last game we just broadcast as well. Kassadin was just left, randomly open, unpicked, unbanned. It was quite surprising. I'd be more than shocked if we don't see it picked this time, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those champions that you don't want to pick straight away, but you do risk giving it across to the enemy team if you don't pick it straight away. So a first pick Kassadin can work very well, especially in a pre-organised 5 like these ones. So I do expect to see it picked up. If not by Riven Please, it's definitely going to be picked up by Death Faction Gaming. But there we are. Locked in straight away.
Well, the thing is, Kassadin's early game is where she's generally weak. Sorry, where he's generally weak. I nearly cut her hair. That's almost as bad as you. Yeah, he's generally weak in the early stages, but then once he hits 6, the Rift Walk becomes available, and the mobility and damage that Kassadin can put out into the late game is fantastic. So, unsurprised to see that one being instantly locked in. We'll have to see how they decide to go about defeating this, though.
The thing about Kassadin is, as you said, the early game is so weak that you need a good, strong jungler to support that, and we already see Elise getting locked out, and Vi, 2 of the strongest junglers in the game at the moment. Lee Sin's been picked up here by DFM, so I'm really wondering, it looks like it might be a Pantheon, and we've seen a lot of Pantheon recently. I'm very excited by that pick. If you can get some good early ganks against the mid laner of DFM, you can get that Kassadin snowball running, you can get him running down that hill as quickly as possible, and he will be in the Sochi Winter Olympics if they start that off well.
Exactly, and if they can't, at the end of the day, even if they can't get a viable full-on ganks off and get kills for the Kassadin in the early game, it will relieve the pressure, allow him to farm and make 6 without being killed early on. If he can just do that, that'll be enough for Kassadin to get himself going overall. The only problem with the Pantheon pick, if they have gone for it, or if they do go for it rather, is they're both very snowbally. Pantheon needs the snowball to get really big really quickly during the game, and so does Kassadin. So they're going for a very snowball-esque team so far.
Do you think they're going to pick up a Nunu to sort of complement that snowball nature of the team, or do you think they're going to leave that one alone?
Where are they going to... Wow, you fooled me there. I was like, where are they going to put Nunu? What are you talking about, you crazy player? Wait, he was making a snowball joke. Okay, great. Fantastic.
We see Leona getting locked in here against Thresh, and Thresh is commonly thought of as a sort of counterpick to Leona, especially in the early game. With that Flay, she Zenith Blades onto you, and as long as you time your Flay well enough, which isn't that difficult to do at this sort of higher level of play, you can stop her from being able to get onto your AD carry, getting onto that jungler as well, and you stop the Shield of Daybreak from being able to proc, so she doesn't get that double stun that she wants. However, as we get into the later game, I find that most of the time Leona has a better long-range engage. With the Flash Zenith Blade, or even with a Solar Flare, you have that little bit of extra movement, that little bit of extra space to play with, as opposed to Thresh, who really either needs to hit a death sentence or has to get in range for his play.
On top of that, with the death sentence from Thresh, what you normally see overall is that he's more of a single target initiation skill, whereas Leona's ultimate can get the whole team if required in those situations. Obviously, Thresh has the box, but he's got to get himself into melee range after a good hook to do so.
I totally agree with that. Sorry.
Mundo being picked up more than likely in this top lane by the looks of it. We've seen a lot of Mundo today. He has been very much played.
Yeah, Mundo he really rose to fame at the start of Season 4 with the changes to moons and masteries. Being that massive tank, Spirit Visage was still really strong at the moment, giving 20% cooldown reduction, and Sunfire Cape had that little bit of extra damage on it as well. And since those have been nerfed, he isn't one of sort of the holy triumvirate of top laners, but still very, very strong, especially as we get into the late game, which is what we saw in the last game as well. And he was probably what was carrying that team until, obviously, they lost.
Obviously, until they lost, yeah. Well, we did see, the team we saw just being played. I've forgotten the name of it. I saw them cast them twice, but they both played Mundo both those games, and we saw him go for the Thornmail Rush after a Sunfire and a Randuin's Omen, which meant if you hit me, you're going to commit suicide, and that's generally what he did. So if you get Mundo to that sort of stage of a game, he's going to be really useful. And looking at the moment at Death Faction's team, they're all AD, so Mundo could generally go that path and be quite happy to do so.
Yeah, we're still waiting on the mid lane to pick up here from Death Faction, so for them all to be AD thus far isn't the worst thing in the world. I expect to see a heavy AP damaging mid laner. LeBlanc is still available, and she's quite good against Kassadin, especially in the early game, and can almost match that mobility as well. Gragas is there, and he would fit relatively nicely into sort of there's a good displacement comp coming out of Death Faction, so they might pick up that Gragas, and of course there's sort of the AoE damage of an Orianna, who could also come into this position, or even a Ziggs. Lux, really heavy on the AP, very good for a pick comp, and does actually work quite well in this Death Faction team.
It does make sense. I expected him to go for more mobility, though, because mobility is going to be the key to escaping the Pantheon ganks, and eventually the Rift Walks from Kassadin as well, when they do come out as well. So it's surprising to see Lux. She's going to look for counterplay on the ganks coming in overall during the early stages of the game, and obviously trying to look for the bindings to the best of her ability to deal damage before they can actually get in range.
Yeah, I mean, the light binding is going to be great against the man drop, the Grand Skyfall against Pantheon, because if she can use Prismatic Barrier, and then as he lands light binding him, it's like a millisecond worth of time that she has to do that, but it does stop him from being able to get right on top of her and locking her down so that Kassadin can jump on top and do all of that extra damage with the Force Pulse. It is going to be very difficult for her to escape. As you said, she hasn't got the mobility, but a well-played Lux should be able to beat Kassadin and Pantheon in the early game.
Agreed. The only thing with Lux, though, she does spam her abilities quite a bit, and in doing so, it does allow his Force Pulse to become available for him, which allows it to be able to deal damage back and look for that slow so Pantheon can look for an engage. It's going to be an interesting mid lane overall, I feel, between the two. Mundo versus Renekton is going to probably go Renekton's way early into Mundo's way later. Nothing unusual there. Bottom lane, we're going to see a lot of tower pushing from Caitlyn overall, down in that bottom lane to the best of her ability, with Leona backing her up in case things do go bad, or looking for the possible engage onto Lucian.
Yeah, Caitlyn Leona is... you see it so often as a lane. It's like we used to see Ezreal and Janna in Season 2. Really, really popular lane, but the synergy is awful.
It's not fantastic, no.
Yeah, Leona wants to jump onto the AD carry or the support from the other team. They want to have a big, heavy, damaging AD carry coming behind that. A Draven, a Lucian, a Jinx, a Graves. Someone who can do a lot of burst damage. And Caitlyn just doesn't do that job. However, as two individual champions in a five-player team, they both work very well and they synergize well with this sort of composition that we have coming out here from RVN. So, although they don't work exceptionally well as a lane, they'll be trying to push that tower, as you said, and then coming and grouping with their team and using their team fighting prowess.
Definitely, and one of the things that you said about the team fighting, the fact of the Solar Flare into a Pantheon and Grand Skyfall timing would be amazing for this team to pull off in these situations. That combination together could really wreak havoc on the enemy team. If they manage to pull that off with Kassadin floating around, looking for the opportunities to Rift Walk in and deal a nice bit of burst damage as well. On top of that, you've got the right-click Kate sat at the back line with Mundo pushing forward. It's a nice composition they've got there.
Oh, most decidedly, they have a very good team fighting composition. And one thing I actually want to pull your attention to is Lux is one of those champions where you can choose to take Ignite or you can choose to take Teleport or Barrier. And those are your three main sort of secondary summoner spells. Now, Multiplexer here has gone for that Ignite. Now, do you think that's specifically to counter out Kassadin, or do you think perhaps she's thinking a little bit about Mundo, thinking about that sadism as well, and perhaps thinking, I need this later on for team fights?
Realistically, though, you've got Thresh who's taking the Ignite as well for the bottom lane. He's looking for the aggression in bottom overall, so you don't have to go for this Ignite in the middle lane. He can be used in the early stages against Kassadin. Kassadin, as we keep pushing over, is very weak in the early game. If you can put enough pressure on, the Ignite can put extra pressure on to force Kassadin back early on, force him to fall behind a little bit, and just basically reduce his chance of getting 6 at a reasonable level so his Rift Walk isn't available, which allows pressure on the map before he can start the roam, which is where he's deadly. So I'm interested to see, if he does use the Ignite like that, just to help force Kassadin out of lane more and more and more, which is where I think they're aiming for there. It does help with Mundo, as you said, but I'm not so sure whether that's the reasoning.
Yeah, the thing about the taking the Ignite on Lux, especially in the early game, is you're usually quite far back. You're usually trying to use your auto attacks and your spells to get those last hits. So unless Kassadin's jumping on you, you need to be walking closer than you have to cast your spells if you want to cast that Ignite, because that's a little bit of a shorter range. So Multiplexer might be going in with that Ignite and slightly mispositioning, and it would be interesting to see if Icon Lost Key on this Pantheon can sort of use that to their advantage and go in for the ganks when Multiplexer's trying to get the kills on Kassadin.
Yeah, look for the opportunity where it's available, basically, is what Pantheon's going to try and do. He can try and influence top lane a little bit during the early stages, but Renekton with the slice and dice is very difficult. Bottom lane, he's got some chances, though, with Leona down in there. They can look for some opportunities or some counter ganks down in the bottom lane. But generally, what I'd probably suggest for Pantheon to do is just focus on mid lane and make sure that Kassadin can reach Riftwalk level without dying.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting as a game. I'm very much looking forward to it. It feels like it's been so long since we last got to cast a Summoners Cup final, and that's because it has been so long, been a good 3 or 4 weeks, and I know I enjoy it. I'm sure everyone out there watching enjoys it as well. I'm positive that both of these teams are enjoying it at the moment, although perhaps they're a little bit nervous, a little bit stressed about the opportunity here to win 3,200 RP each and that Triumphant Rise skin. Going to do a quick shout out to all of our sort of social media devices. We're on Twitter at EGL. We're also on YouTube /EGL Pro. You can find me, that's Sona, at The Only Sona on Twitter. And you can find my gorgeous, my wonderful, my dulcet-toned co-caster at HinduManLol on Twitter as well. He doesn't post that much, but when he does post, it's very, very good.
I'm a very... What? When I post, it's very, very good. The only 2 things I've ever posted on Twitter was predictions for LCS. That's all you'll get. A couple of predictions for LCS. Because me and Twitter, I'm an old man now, so this newfangled technology is too much. I've only just learned Facebook.
Well, considering Facebook is apparently going to be dying out relatively soon, so you just have to try and keep up with the fads as much as you can. Hindu-man, yeah.
We are guys, with your newfangled mobile phones.
Yeah, well, I don't use a mobile phone. I only use telegrams.
Back in my day, we just had telephone boxes.
And now they're used as urinals. So, we're about to get into the game between Ribbon Please and Death Faction. I forgot what the M stands for. Death Faction Machine?
Death Faction Gaming.
Gaming.
I'm sure
an M there then?
Oh, you're telling me it was Death Faction Gaming.
Death Faction.
Okay, Death Faction.
Right. The Faction of Death. We're about to get into the game. Just waiting on everyone to load on in. See, Just Call Me Lee has this challenger border, and as much as I like the way that it's designed, I'm not sure if it's as good as it could have been. I think the diamond borders look a little bit better, in my opinion.
It's like a dull gold border, which means bronze. So he's top level and bottom level in one border. It's genius.
Proven. Challenger is bronze.
Yep, confirmed. Challenger is bronze with circles at the top. That's all the differences are. So we're in. We are underway. Will we see any level 1 action? Probably from Death Faction when they go for this tri-bush in the bottom, as usual. When I say as usual, it's pretty much every red team that I ever seem to see play nowadays goes for this tri-bush, try and catch somebody. Especially when they've got someone like Thresh.
That they do. My scoreboard's a little bit off kilter, so I'm just going to try and reorganise that. If you give me a second. Hopefully nothing major will happen while I'm trying to reorganise it, because if it does, that's probably going to make people a little bit cross with me.
Not really. There's just going to be a bit of a dance in the middle lane. Nothing too special to really see.
I do like a good dance in the middle lane.
Oh, be careful. There could be something. You may miss it.
There could be something. It looks like there's just... there's a little bit of a bush sort of... Well, they're all standing in the bush. DFM Gregorian here on this Thresh is going to come across. There is no one standing there. You're not going to be able to spot anything out there, and they've all decided to back away. One quick thing that I notice in these sort of games is we have a lot of of warding totems coming out and no sweeping lenses. Do you think that's the best way to start sort of these higher level games?
Generally, to an extent, this is what you see all over. I mean, you've got to take into account what sort of junglers you've got as well going on. Lee Sin wants that trinket totem, so it's not a surprise that we're going to see him with the warding totem, so he can use it to abuse the fact that he can jump to that ward immediately. At the same time, warding early game is important. As the game goes on, sweeping becomes more important. So you'll see this from the supports more than anything. They'll transition into the sight stone, and then once they've got the sight stone, they'll immediately sell those warding trinkets and pick up sweepers. So you'll have at least one on each side.
Yeah, I'm just switching us across to colorblind mode because for some it is in colorblind mode.
Good job.
Okay, Dan just told me switch to colorblind mode, please. That's one of our admins, and I am in colorblind mode. So obviously Dan is
not colorblind. Is colorblind? We'll find out.
I'm not sure. Anyway, yes. So
ask him in chat. I'm sure he'll answer.
We'll see what he decides to say. And oh, a little bit of a light banner here in the mid lane, just going to miss off to the side. And you see that Nosphere coming out from Ixniski on Kassadin. He's going to be trying to get that harass down early game, just because you want to try and do as much sort of damage as possible when you're playing Kassadin, so that you can get into melee range for those creeps. It's very difficult to harass versus a melee range champion as Kassadin, but if you can manage to get a couple of spells down early game, it really puts the fear of God into your opponents.
Yeah, the North Sphere on Kassadin is actually really quite a strong, powerful skill that is very underrated and people don't realise does a lot of damage straight from level 1. You can see why Lux has been chunked already below half health. Had to use a health potion already to start sustaining himself back up. But doing a good job of farming under the tower is Kassadin at the moment, which is one of the keys to being able to play Kassadin to a decent level, is farm after you've been pushed.
Yeah, especially when you don't really have that AP, you don't really have the extra damage just to clear out waves with your force pulse. You need to be able to harass down properly with your Netherblade, time those minions along with the tower shots, and just be able to get as many CS as possible. Actually, ahead in CS in that mid lane at the moment. That's more.
Who's coming mid? We're going to be seeing Pantheon already. He's looking for the opportunity.
He is trying to come in here. He's got that double buff. Lee Sin's going to come in for the counter, but Kassadin's already down to about 300 HP. It's going to be dangerous for them. There's no ward on the green side to spot out this Lee Sin. Here comes the Sonic Wave. It hits. Is he going to go in? Decides not to follow that one up, and just going to decide to back away from that one. Pantheon's coming back up, and he's going to meet Lee Sin. Is there going to be anything happening here? He's going to get some damage off. He's going to jump in with that stun. Oh, the Sonic Wave hits across the wall. There he goes, and the Ignite onto Lee Sin. He's going to go down. First blood to Pantheon. Flash away there by Kassadin, but he gets taken out. Flash across the wall by Lux. Going to try and chase this one down, but I'm not sure if Pantheon's going to be able to get there in time. Has got his flash available if he decides to go for it, but the game's crashed.
The game crashed.
Is your game crashed?
No.
My game's just totally stopped.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna quickly just chuck over another overlay, and we will sort this out any second now.
So while we're sat waiting anyway, I'll discuss, nothing's going on in the game anyway, but what happened there, Lux flashed over the wall thinking that Kassadin didn't actually die, but her passive, with the auto attack, managed to pick up the kill for her there. She flashed over the wall to try and secure the kill on Kassadin, but he was already dead. Managed to get away though from Pantheon in the midst of all that, so a 1-for-1 trade in the middle lane. Overall, generally, that will go in favour of Riven Please.
That it definitely will, just because those the extra flash is being used, they managed to get the kill. Getting that double buff off of Lee Sin as well is really, really strong. So just stops him from being able to do as much as he'd like to in the early game. And we are back into the game now. And hopefully we won't have any more weird game crash errors. I apologise for the little bit of text on the top of the overlay. Not quite sure why it's not in the right position. We'll try and sort that out in the in-between game break. But can't really do a huge amount about it now because we are watching this game. Lee Sin's going to get jumped on by Pantheon. So much damage coming down on him. He has got that flash. He tries to safeguard across the wall. Prismatic barrier comes out and keeps him alive. Going to be able to just walk around and farm up his wolves.
Pantheon's abusing the fact that he's still got his double buffs. Lee Sin obviously lost him in the middle lane to the Kassadin, and that's why Pantheon's in his jungle at the moment. Just abusing the fact he's still got the double buffs for the regen, as well as the extra damage from the red buff. Really good work. We've seen a lot of fighting down bottom as well.
Yeah, huge amounts of fighting down bottom, and there's a nice hook onto Caitlyn. Lucian's getting taken quite low, but managing to get the damage down onto Elite Joint on that Leona means that she has to back away, pops a potion, going to be able to sustain herself up with that and the Dorman shield that she has, and my game has stopped again.
So has mine.
So has yours. Okay.
So has mine.
EU West, everybody.
Welcome to EU West, boys and girls, where the players are so good that we have to give them breaks in between games because North America can't put on a decent show.
Well, obviously, yeah, we're just having a quick little bit of technical difficulties here. Hopefully I have one of these guys on my friends list so I can spectate off them. Let's see if we can get this sorted out. I'm really sorry about this, guys. Obviously, technical difficulties with spectator mode are outside of our control. Not really a huge amount we can do, but we will try and get straight into the game as soon as possible. And if we aren't able to, I'm sure that we will be able to find some other way of entertaining you in the meantime.
Sona will sing. Sona will sing if we're stuck.
I seriously doubt that I will sing. I'm pretty sure we can get Hindi Man to sing, actually. So
I called it first. I'm sorry. You lose that one.
Will you sing with me? We can sing together. Dual singing? No? Do you not want to sing with me, Hindi Man?
No, not particularly. I mean, to be honest, I've heard your vocals before, and I don't think they're on par with mine, and I wouldn't want to abuse you in that sense.
When you say you don't think they're on par, you mean you think they're a huge amount better than yours, obviously.
Yeah, mine are better, but I want to save them for special occasions. That's generally.
Oh, yours are better.
Of course.
I was so sure that mine were better. I'm pretty sure that my vocals sort of are at a level that you can't even begin to understand. That's how good they are.
I agree.
You agree that you can't understand my vocals.
I am so busy right now trying to make sure we can get this game up. Sona's just too caring about the speaking. This is ridiculous.
Well, while you try and sort that out, I'll have a little bit of talk about the game thus far and how it's been going for both these teams. Obviously, we saw Riven Please picking up that first blood on Pantheon, who it would have perhaps been better on Kassadin, but you have to remember that Lux got that kill straight away, so actually not giving that double buff across to Lux is the best way that it could have gone all round if you expect Kassadin has to die in the situation. Kassadin now with the assist has been able to pick up the starting of his new items, and we see sort of the start of many items coming down across the rift. Mundo had just picked up a chain vest, obviously going to build that into the Sunfire Cape, which you expect from Mundo, and I think what we'll see as we progress through this game is quite a heavy focus from the Riven Please team on armor, and we talked about this a little bit in Champion Select. The armor aspect, because there are 4 members on the DFM team that do this sort of AD attack damage. I was going to say AD damage there, but they do attack damage, physical damage. We're going to see a lot of armor being focused down, and perhaps this is where Riven Please might give the game away a little bit, just because if Lux catches out one of their squishier targets, a Kassadin or Caitlyn as well in that bottom lane, it's going to be very difficult for them to escape or even survive unless they've got a Negatron Cloak or a Null Magic Mantle, just to give them that little bit of extra MR. Kassadin, usually you see either a Tear of the Goddess into a Seraph's Embrace build, which will give him that little bit of a shield, or you see the Catalyst build, which goes into a lot of ages and should make him tanky enough to survive a Lux burst, unless that Lux has got particularly fed and uses her passive really, really well. So it's going to be interesting as we get into sort of the mid-late game. We've talked a lot about roaming as well. Kassadin, obviously, better roamer than... a better roamer than...
Lux.
Than Lux, that's the one, okay.
You read information now and get going, because we should be hopefully be able to get back in if that works.
Yep.
And we can get back into the game. Hopefully is the key. But yeah, as it stands at the moment, I expect this game to go really even, but the problem overall for Def Faction is the scaling is so much better for Riven Please. They have the Mundo and they have the Kassadin as well, which are both really strong as the game goes on.
That they are. I just need to change a couple of things here, because my Riot Games is not in my C drive.
Change it to the right drive, we should be good.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to work out which drive it's in. I have too many drives. I think it's in this drive. Anyway, yeah, so we're just trying to get back into the game, guys. Hopefully we'll have this sorted any second.
Yeah, it won't
now.
take too long for us to get back in from here, I don't believe. Everything should be okay, hopefully, Sona.
Yeah, it should be, hopefully, okay.
Hopefully, Sona. Well, I managed to get in for the time being. As the score stands 2-2, it's still pretty even across the map at the moment, so we've not really missed anything so far. I don't believe, touchwood, a dragon has been taken by a team. I'm guessing that was in favour of Riven, please.
A dragon's been taken by one of the teams, perhaps, maybe.
No, he has gone. He's disappeared, okay?
Okay,
the
so dragon is
gone,
definitely down.
But I'm not sure who took it. Goodness sakes.
Hey.
Listen to the radio broadcast correctly, Sona.
Oh, okay, well, if you continue radio broadcasting, I'm just going to keep trying to find out where League of Legends is in my computer.
Really? Really?
Well, it says that it's not where it thinks it is, so hopefully...
Right-click on your low click on properties, click on open file location.
Right-click. There aren't... Oh. League.
Please,
Play League of
Sona,
Legends, right-click.
please.
Properties.
Please.
It's in A.
Okay, so put A.
Yeah, and then I've got 2 League of Legends folders, apparently.
I hate this caster. This is the quality I have to deal with, guys.
Hey,
really sorry.
look, okay? It can't find it. It can't find my League of Legends. Okay. Okay, we'll get this sorted, guys. We will be sorted as soon as possible, obviously. We want to get you as many games shown on stream as we possibly can, especially when, you don't want to have to be just watching me mess around trying to work out what on earth I'm trying to do. But if we can't get it working, I'm sure people will find out a solution for that, because that's what people do, because they're intelligent. And I feel a little bit like...
You sound so intelligent when you try and...
Mate, I'm a medical student, okay? I'm a doctor of tomorrow, you might say.
Yeah, it didn't sound very intelligent. It just sounded like, I'm trying to speak words.
Yes!
Speaking. What? You in?
Well, I'm loading up. I'm
Hooray.
loading. I'm in the screen of the load. Yes! Yes, get in. You want to know why it was? It's because I removed the quotation marks.
Okay, well done.
No, as in,
Yes,
when
I
I
know.
copied it without the quotation marks.
My goodness me. The quality. Well, the good
Mate,
news
okay,
is
well,
it's 6 for 6, and at the moment, Blue Team are ahead. Riven Please are ahead by 2k gold and 1 tower. I'm pretty sure that's down to the Dragon, and the tower they have taken is the 2k gold lead at the moment.
Well, that is exceptionally good to know. Here we are, 6-4-6. Can see a little bit of an outline of a box. Lots of death has gone down. Okay, so let's do a quick rundown of who has died, who has killed. Well, who we can't really say who has killed whom. We can say people have been killed by someone, but we can't say who killed them. So we see in the top lane, Mundo 0-1-2 here for the RVN team, whereas Renekton has picked up 1 kill and 1 death as well. Lee Sin 0-2-2 as opposed to the 5-0-1 on that Pantheon. Ikonlowski really doing work with that Pantheon. Lux has put up a couple of kills in the mid lane, but Kassadin got that Catalyst, got a tier as well. Is going to be starting to get into that sort of more damagey, more tanky build that you expect him to. There's the Ignite on Multiplex, and he's going to go in. Lots of damage, manages to get the kill, flashes away from the Sonic Wave as well, and he's going to escape Lee Sin. Nicely done by him.
Yeah, that flash was huge for him overall, but we see Caitlyn did pick up that BF sword. She's nearly got a Bloodthirster finished. Even on CS with the Lucian. Lucian has rushed the Bloodthirster as well, but is behind a little bit as he's gone towards the Sheen pick up next, so he hasn't got his Berserker boots. And Leona 0-1-2 and 1-1-2 respectively to Thresh, because he's got the Sightstone finished, whereas Thresh does not, and the pressure is being put on mid lane. We're all caught up today. It's 7-6 in favour of Riven Please as the mid tower goes down.
Yeah, the mid tower going down. That's the second tower of the game for them. No towers have gone down for the DFM team yet, and Kassadin's roamed towards this top lane. Renekton has stayed around a little bit longer because he knew there was no Ignite here on Mundo, but Mundo doesn't even need to tank this up, just misses that cleaver. He's showing a little bit of his stripes there, but here comes Kassadin from the side. Absolutely melting down with the next, and Sadin's been popped. Just call me Lee, tanking up a few too many shots. Cullen coming out self and trying to get some extra damage down there, but not able to connect with any of those shots.
Prime example there of why you ban Kassadin. The roam ability is fantastic from him in the middle lane. And look at the damage he put out in that situation with only a Catalyst and a tier. When he starts finishing off those items, he's got his Rod of Ages now. 15-minute Rod of Ages with a tier already being stacked. He's going to become more deadly as time goes on.
Yep, Dragons just respawned, and I'm pretty sure that would have gone across to the Riven Police team because they were ready and waiting for this one to get started. Took it about 9 minutes 30, so that's a relatively early Dragon, probably after one of the bot lane fights, and should be able to get this one down. But here comes Lee Sin from the side. He's got that Sonic Wave, goes in. There's the laser, and Lux steals that one away. Leona's gone very low as well here. Prismatic Barrier going to try and go in. Beautiful Solar Flare hitting up two people, and here comes Kassadin. Gets Dragons raged away. Are they going to be able to go in here? Caitlyn, man drop from behind. They're going for this one. Desta Strike is going to get jumped on, but look at that. Pantheon gets melted away. Force Pulse coming in. They're going to have to retreat. Kassadin should be able to escape from this one with another Rift Walk. Mundo is coming in from the side as well. It looks like we're going to have a chase here from DFM. Oh, you stepped in a couple of traps. Those cupcakes are just too delicious for you. Just call me Lee Sadism. He gets knocked up with that barrier as well. Is it going to be enough play? There gets a kill on Leona. Mundo getting the kill on Lee Sin. Caitlyn with a double kill as well. They're going to keep chasing. There's the Prismatic Barrier and the Light Binding. Oh! Double kill for Lux, and they can turn this one round. Just call me Lee is all alone. Burning Agony is not going to be agonizing for South Hun, and he picks up that one in a 5-for-4 trade.
Okay.
Yes, 5-for-3. 5-for-3.
We got a game on our hands here. We have a game on. That was an amazing team fight between the two teams. Overall, I think Riven Please just played it too much. They shouldn't have gone in after picking up. They lost the Dragon. Should have just backed away. They wanted to get some revenge for the Dragon Steal, and it went really badly for him. That Dragon Steal, though, just to play out, Lee Sin smited early because he knew Lux's damage would finish it off. Pantheon had no chance in that situation to smite and pick that up. Really well played from their faction. They're picking up this bottom tower now, and that has brought the gold almost to even. The kills are even now, and the tower's down.
That it is only 700 gold the difference, and that is not going to be focused on the people you want it focused on. We saw Pantheon in that last fight jumping into the backline. He's got a huge amount of gold as opposed to, well, actually only 800 more gold. I thought it would be a lot more than that. 800 more gold than his lane opponent, but that's the majority of this difference, and he's jumped into the back of that fight but got melted down exceptionally quickly, especially with these single target skill shots that we have coming out from the DFM team. They're able to lock down him as soon as he lands because they know where he's going to land. It's always the middle of the big circle, and even I can aim for the middle of the big circle with a skill shot.
Yeah, and Pantheon, the thing about Pantheon is as well, he came in with 25% health. Like,
Oh,
he had no health.
Sorry, the Nexus is not in a good position here. Tries to flash away, force post. There's the Lantern as well. He's going to get that one. Cullen coming out. Just call me Lee. They're going to come in from the side with the final spark. It's not going to be enough. Oh, beautiful. Death Sentence on Just Call Me Lee. Icon Losky's going to go down. Starfray hits up two people. Castle is still alive. Oh, but a beautiful Sonic Wave onto him. He riffles across the wall. There's Mundo getting chased down. He's been ignited. Caitlyn is still in bot lane. She's nowhere near this fight. Just Call Me Lee's going to have to back away. They're trying to chase down on Leona. The pull will be up in just a second. There it is. The hook misses. Cassadin might have gone back in on that one. Decides against it. And meanwhile, Caitlyn is split pushing bot.
Kate can possibly make something of this bad situation they got themselves caught in here. If Kate can get that bomb tower, Lucian has recalled, but they could put pressure on top here, but they're choosing not to. I'm quite surprised.
Yeah, they're a bit fearful of that Kassadin. Mundo is still around as well. He's on half health. Sadism isn't up, but will be up relatively soon. They're going to go for the top tower. Prismatic Barrier coming out from Lux. They're going to dive on him. There's the slice and dice with the Predator coming out as well. Final spark should be enough. Nice hook there as well, just to make sure he almost stole the kill away from his mid laner.
They did get the bottom tier tower though. Caitlyn did manage to pick that one up in time, which did kind of even out a little bit. A top outer tower for an inner tower and a death. Sorry, two deaths in the end because Mundo just died as well. I guess that's about even overall. Probably slightly in favour of Death Faction thanks to the kills. They do have a small gold lead now, very small in fact, 400 gold, but this blue buff should be taken away.
Yeah, blue buff actually makes that trade a lot. Oh! Did that just get smited by Pantheon?
I believe it was.
Pantheon smote that one. Smote it? Smited it.
Be smoked. Yes, it's a viable term. We'll use it.
Yeah, he smited that one away, and that I was about to say. Blue buff, as we've seen on the League of Legends subreddit, is about 2,000 gold's worth of stats. So by taking that one back for his team, he meant that the trade was more in their favour than it would have been, of course, if it was stolen away.
Death Faction have to abuse what they've got right now, which is an advantage. They've just won a team fight and they just had a little skirmish top that went in their favour. What they need to do is put the pressure on now, because the problem is the longer this game goes, they're going to get outscaled. Mundo's becoming ridiculous. So's Kassadin, so's Caitlyn and Pantheon. They all scale. Well, Pantheon doesn't scale as well, but the others do to an extent. Renekton, though, he falls off. Lee Sin, he's only going to be a brute force tank overall for his team. So they really need to look at applying the pressure and keeping it on while they've got this advantage now.
Yeah, they definitely do, and they've got the ward coverage and the vision to be able to apply some pressure as well, especially if they decide to go towards this top side of the map. They have, like, 5 wards in this blue side jungle. for the Riven Please team, and they should be using this vision while they have it. If they can push down, maybe get that inner turret on that lane, and then be able to rotate around and get the turrets in the other lanes as well. They are 100 gold ahead, and it looks like it's the first time they've been ahead in gold in the game.
Seems so, yeah. And what we're probably going to see overall is the next fight at the Dragon is going to be key to how this game's going to play out for the next few minutes afterwards. Because what you're probably going to see, if Riven Please do take this Dragon away and manage to win a team fight of this Dragon, or get it for free, they are going to have a commanding lead overall in this game, I feel. However, if their faction do get a good team fight off again, they can keep putting the pressure on they have just done and try and get some of these middle towers down. But Dragon coming up 40 seconds, we can already see Riven Please heading over there.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought you just really timed it well and you'd written it down on a piece of paper, because I forgot that the new spectator mode has this little, oh, this is when Dragon's coming up, just to make it even easier for us casters. So I thought you were really intelligent.
I set timers. I turn that off and set up timers, you see.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and have little beeps going off, honestly.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't need that. I'm a professional caster.
Well, I definitely need it. Oh, man drop coming in here. The scan cycle. Cassidin's around as well. Going to go in there. Jumps onto that Lux, and she's going to go very low. Oh, that Lantern's not going to be enough Cullen coming out, but just dissuading them from going any further, and that is a beautiful setup for this Dragon, which is about to spawn.
Yeah, half an inch difference that was between life and death with that Lantern coming down there. Very unfortunate overall, but it was really nicely played overall by Riven Please. They knew the Dragon was due up, as you said, so they looked for an engage, looked to pick someone off so they couldn't contest, and here's more fight.
Yeah, teleport's coming in behind all of this as well. There's the Lantern, but Mundo is going to be in his face. Nice Dragon Switch kicking and knocking through all of the mace, and the hole coming out. Doesn't get dodged there by Thresh. He gets hit by it. Cassidin's there, very low on health, and Renekton is still alive. Lucian off to the side. Cassidin gets taken down by the Ignite. Lucian's going to get chased away. Renekton goes down, so it's a 2-for-1 exchange, if you count Lux. I'm counting Lux.
Count Lux, it's fine. We got this.
Oh, Thresh is coming back into this, puts the Lantern down. He flays them away, but Leona's around. No, does chase up on that. Leona's deciding to go ham with that Zenith Blade. Going to go in, but she's going to get caught out. Nice death sentence, and there's the light burning as well. Locks him up. Oh, Pantheon taking out Lucian to the side of this one. Lux flashes across the wall. Pantheon has nothing. He gets taken out by the light binding, and everyone decides to go back to their base and heal.
It feels like a game of ham right now. The Dragon went down and everyone thought, let's team fight! We're a man down, said their faction. They went in 4v5 and produced a crazy team fight that kind of worked out okay, realistically. I mean, they have a kill lead still overall. They're still down a Dragon, and that's as Mundo in mid lane on Lux.
Yeah, Lux is not having a nice time now. The Cleaver's hit a couple of times. He dodged the light binding. She's going to be able to get away because that last Cleaver missed, but it's sort of the game. I was trying to think of a good pun on the Game of Thrones, so I went through like the Game of Moans and the Game of like Drones, but I couldn't think of anyone that works. Maybe someone in the chat will think of one and we can use it for it, because it's as if George R.R. Martin is writing this and saying, okay, who's doing well?
Die.
You die. You die.
People like this champion. You die. Yeah, that's generally how it goes down when he writes those books. So at the moment we can see the map's been opened up massively, but in favour of Riven Please really. You can see the pressure is all on their side of the map now, and that's generally because this middle tower has gone down, as well as the two outer towers in top and bottom. It puts a lot more pressure on the jungle, and you can see Riven Please trying to abuse this by pushing down middle lane a lot more, keeping them zoned in the base. They need to turtle up, get ward vision in the jungle as much as possible, and stop them from using Cassidin coming over the wall with these rift walks. Lucian, stop!
Ooh, that was very close. Placed that nice little warding toad, and they're going to be able to spot out Cassidin as he comes around the side. I really would like to see a couple more sweeping lenses, one on Cassidin, one perhaps on Pantheon as well, just to clear out this vision, because DFM are doing a superb job of warding up their own jungle and keeping vision around as much as possible. Look at it, they've got a good 5 or 6 wards in the area. They know Cassidin's bot lane now. They're trying to engage with that Sonic Wave. It's hit Caitlyn. Not going to go in. Pantheon's off to the side as well. You do need to be wary of him. Got that Spirit of the Lizard Elder, or the Elder Lizard, and got quite a bit of damage coming out as well. So you need to be a bit careful, especially with Cassidin's roaming potential.
They've got so much though, Riven Please, at the moment. They can have Pantheon, Mundo, or Cassidin split push right now. Mundo can split push because of his teleport, Pantheon can split push because of his man drop, and then you've got Cassidin with the Rift Walk. They could split push 2 different lanes and the middle at the same time, and be quite comfortable to do so, and get themselves out of a bad sticky situation. We could see a fight over this blue buff though.
Yeah, blue buff worth a lot, as we said before. Death Sentence is missing, and this might be an engage trigger here, because as soon as that Death Sentence goes down, you know that it's that little bit of CC. The light binding's down as well. They're going to try and fight across it. Lantern coming out. Renekton's going to have to slice and dice away, and they should just take away this blue buff for free. Lucian getting a bit of damage down onto just core melee. He's going to go down to at least half health, but he has got that sadism, can pop that anytime he wants, and the blue buff is taken away there by Kassadin. Thresh is here. He's going to use that sweeping lens. Are they going to be able to take that out? Yes, the ward will go down, and oh, it's on a knife edge. It's so tense at the moment, Hindu man. I can sense it in my bones that something's going to happen soon.
I am really happy though that Lucian went for the last
whistle. Oh, flash engage there onto Lux. She's going to go very low. She's got no flash and goes down to the ace and hole. Renekton is being jumped on. Lucian is fighting against Caitlyn by himself. There comes Kassadin. Double kill for Caitlyn. Renekton's very low. Has popped that dominance, but he's been ignited and is going to go down as well. It's a 3-for-0 exchange, and they're going to keep chasing Lee Sin solo. Oh, beautiful Lantern. Kassadin. Rift walk, rift walk, rift walk. There it comes. He's going to try and go in, and this one dodges the play out. And there is the kill with that force pulse. Going to keep going. Are they going to be able to get enough damage? Oh, there goes the Leona in with her Zenith Blade. Gregorian, flay them back, get a kill, do something. No, double kill, and it's a 5-for-0 exchange.
Yeah, mid tower is definitely going to go down from this one. Mundo just taking up the tower at the end that we can see there. What happened in that situation is Lux is the major force of damage other than Lucian for Death Action. When Lux goes down, the damage is decreased drastically for this team. And you can see Pantheon caught Lux out of position, the team piled in, destroyed her immediately, and then it was just clean up crew generally from that point onwards. Allowed him to get the tower. Really, really well played by Riven, please.
Yeah, Riven Please, reminiscent of Gambit Gaming there, or the sort of more M5 style of play. See a hero, kill a hero, and they all just piled onto that Lux as much as possible. They didn't mind how many ultimates they used. We saw Ace in the hole, we saw Pantheon burning his flash, we saw Leona with the solar flare as well, just locking her up as long as possible, managing to pick up that kill, and from there, they took the team fight. Really good micro as well from Kassadin, realising that Caitlyn needed some help with Lucian, Rift walking back out of the fight to get Lucian, and then going back in, jumping around as much as possible, and picking up that double kill at the end.
And as I keep saying, I don't hate to reiterate, but over the time, this team from Riven Please is going to become better scaled overall, with Mundo getting more and more tanky. Kassadin, you can see he's got his Rabadons, he's got his Rod of Ages. That tier is still ticking away, so soon that'll be an Archangel staff. And it's going to just really cause even more pressure for this team and more damage for them to deal with, where they're relying on just the Lux and the Lucian for damage overall. Renekton's built tanky to an extent. He has got the Hydra, yes, but when you've also got a Lee Sin that's just gone for the defensive items, he's not going to be able to give it much late game.
Definitely not, and now that Pantheon's able to go into this sort of tankier build as well, it's really helping them out, making them, he doesn't melt anymore, which is the big thing. Dragon's going to be up in 2 seconds, they should have this one really easily. Caitlyn's there, just melts down, half HP already, and it gets taken out. That's going to be a smite down, however, only 40 seconds on that cooldown, not as long as it used to be, so we don't expect to see sort of a Retribution Baron coming out here from DFM.
Yeah, I feel a Baron dance is definitely in order for them, though. They feel strong. That fight went really well for them. I don't think they should be too overconfident, though, because they did get a pick before all that took off. If they get a pick again, we'll see a Baron.
Ooh, Thresh almost getting called out there, using the Talisman of Ascension just to escape. But Nectar's going to have to be a bit careful, because they're coming up for this last inner tower on the red side. And looks like, oh, actually final spot coming out on Kassadin, but hardly any damage. Flay actually knocking him out of the box. Beautiful solar flare knocking up 2 people. Here comes Sadism from Mundo, going to jump into the back line of the fight. Kassadin is exceptionally low, but Lee Sin is unable to connect. Renekton gets kicked into the team. He's going to slice and dice in, but nice flash away there by Kassadin. This is a really good fight here for the DFM team. Pantheon actually taking out Renekton, but everyone is so low here. Multiplexes gets the Pantheon. Thresh, Lux, and Lucian are still alive against the Kassadin Caitlyn Mundo combo. Is he going to be able to pick it off with the light binding? Not quite able to get that one. Everyone is so low here in this fight. Kassadin's still low as well. Thresh is there. Oh, Lucian flashing in with the one. Beautiful play. Death Sentence missing, but Caitlyn's going to get the kill there. Oh, if that Death Sentence has hit, that would have been such a big turnaround here for DFM.
Overplaying that one in the end was that team, but Mundo and Leona and Pantheon. Whoa!
Oh yeah, Caitlyn getting called out. She's going to have to flash away. There's the prismatic barrier. Final spot, not going to be enough. Oh, the Death Sentence dodging the jukes. This is gorgeous. Caitlyn might take it. No, the Piltover Peacemaker not quite coming out in time. And Lux picks up that one.
Before the end of that fight where Caitlyn and Kassadin threw away their lives looking for the last little kills, Mundo, Leona and Pantheon did work on peeling. Like, Kassadin was so low for the longest time, but they peeled so well. Lee Sin couldn't get to them, Renekton couldn't get to him, and then he managed to rift walk away, but went back in, saw the wall, didn't realise they had vision of him as well. Lucian picks up that kill, and Caitlyn just outplayed herself, I feel, more than anything else in that. She even dodged into the hook from Thresh at the end of that.
That she did, and I think what we need to remember is how attractive like Leona, Pantheon and Mundo are, because they're quite appealing, really. And That's just really important. So I made myself laugh with my bad jokes.
I don't even understand that bad
But
joke.
they're appealing.
Like,
they're good peelers, so they're appealing.
Oh, okay. I was like, what's he talking about? They're not pretty. Mundo's not pretty.
Hey,
Pantheon might be. He wants to be a baker.
Beauty is from within, Hindu man.
It's the eye of the beholder.
Why do you have someone's eye?
Because I was holding it.
Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, so we see this game sort of balanced out a little bit now. Both teams can win team fights if they play it perfectly, and that's what we've seen. I still think the favourites inside of Riven Please. They have that sort of a little bit of extra damage, especially with the mobility of Kassadin. Black Cleaver now being picked up on Pantheon as well, so that's going to be doing some more damage. And the split push of Mundo, obviously. But DFM will have a little bit more confidence now. They'll think perhaps we're able to get a couple of kills now.
Well, they can do the split push now. Mundo's bottom, they're going to get a free top tower. Mundo can pull pressure on this bottom one while they'll siege the top one. Can always TP in there as well. Everything's pretty good for Riven Please. The only mistakes they made in that fight generally was they just overplayed themselves. As long as they can keep the assault going, things look good for Riven Please as we go into the later stages of the game now.
Yeah, Caitlyn, having picked up that Phantom Dancer now as well, is going to be doing a lot of right-clicking, or as much right-clicking as she can, and a couple of pings coming out on Baron here. I'm not sure this is the smartest idea in the world, because Baron obviously does put that little bit of pressure down on you, and they're going to just clear out these wards as much as they can. That pink ward not spotting them, because the pink ward vision has actually been reduced a little bit, so not able to spot that one out. Mundo is still in the bot lane with Renekton, and what do you think?
It's not the worst decision in the world, this, at all, because Mundo can keep Renekton busy down here, chunk him slightly low as well, which means he's not going to be as tanky when he gets there. There's Dominus Pucks in the bottom lane. This is really good opportunity for him to start the Baron, because Mundo can get up there, if required.
I was going to say, what do you think happens if Mundo tries to teleport in, but stopped by that Ruthless Predator coming out from Renekton? Because Pantheon's actually going to go in here on the bottom lane, I think.
He was looking for a privileged moment. He was looking to be privileged. But nope, not at this stage of the game. But Mundo's going to keep pushing the bottom lane. He doesn't have to leave anywhere. Renekton's going to be careful though, because he did take quite a bit of damage. That Hydra will help him sustain though, which is good. But he did pop Dominus as well. Hopefully the cooldown will be up in time if this Baron is started. Looks like Riven Please are going to back away though. I'm quite surprised by that.
Well, I think they've just decided that they've got a little bit of gold. They want to go back, just collect these items. Mundo's sitting on 1,200, Pantheon on 1,400, there's 1,000 on Caitlyn as well. Kassadin's gone back and picked up another needlessly large rod, so that damage spike is going to be quite large, sitting on 458 AP at the moment, as opposed to Lux, who's only got, well, I say only, she's actually got more, right? But she doesn't have the mobility that Kassadin does, so I'm going to pretend that I didn't say only.
Good save.
As opposed to Lux, who's sitting on 534.
The most interesting thing about that Kassadin now, he's going for the Zhonyas. Now, the Zhonyas will allow him for an extra engage in team fights. He can rift walk in, do a full combo, and then immediately Zhonyas, forcing the team to choose a different target, which allows Pantheon, which allows Mundo, which allows Leona to all jump and pile into that, while we have the right-clicking ability of Caitlyn in the background through the whole of the team fight. It's just that extra edge for not taking too much damage if he does get caught like he did in that fight near the red buff earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, he does have that little bit of extra sustain, a little bit of... He's able just to stop people from killing him, which I know sounds very simplistic, and I am a play-by-play caster, so it is quite simplistic, but it's a huge deal as we get into these later fights. If you can stop people from being able to use, or even if they burn spells on you and aren't quite able to pick you off, it makes it a lot more difficult for them to continue on with those team fights, especially with someone like Kassadin, who might get caught out Zhonya's and then can rift walk away straight away.
Mundo is still bot, and the trap just gave vision in the bush to see someone's recall, and at the moment, if that person does, if Renekton does recall, they could possibly go here.
Yeah, it looks like they might go rotate around towards it. Death Center's landing there on Leona. It's not the target you want. Kassadin, Pantheon, Leona, and Caitlyn are going to start up this Baron. A ward has gone into it, one of those beautiful Season 3 wards, and it's already down to a little bit less than half health. It's sitting on 6,000. Lee Sin needs to jump in on this one at some point. Remember, his Q does do percentage health damage. Everyone's backed away. Mundo is fighting against Renekton down in the bottom lane. Neither of them have gone exceptionally low. Renekton's down to half health. The hook landing there on Pantheon, not wanting to go in on that one. Renekton's still on half health in the bottom lane. He's going quite low. I'm just going to switch across towards that. He's being chased down. Cleaver landing. Destitute is going to go really low here. Slice and Dice is through. Going to slice across the wall. And let's go back to mid lane. There's an engage. Solo player. Box. Lucian's going very low. The Cullen comes out. Leona's jumped on him. Final spot. Oh, the Zhonya's coming out from Kassadin. Beautiful way, but Lucian picks up Pantheon. Leona's still alive. Kassadin gets the kill on Lee Sin. Here comes the teleport in from Mundo. They're going to chase. It's a 2v4, and this should be a 2v3, sorry. Thresh and Lux are getting taken exceptionally low. Lux uses that. Zhonya's trying to keep himself alive. Thresh is going off to the side and they're going to go back in. Leona getting taken very low. Caitlyn is still alive though, and that's their main damage source. And there's the ace in the hole. That's one Lux dead. There's the Renekton dead as well. And there's only Thresh left alive here for the DFM team, and they're going to be able to push down mid lane.
So much focus was on Kassadin in that fight. He did end up going down to the last tick of Ignite from Lux as he did manage to flash back to his tower. However, Mundo turning up stopped the retention from Caitlyn, and Caitlyn through the whole of that fight was allowed to auto attack. This is going to be inhibitor, if not GG. More than likely the GG. No, sorry, more than likely not. It's just going to be the inhibitor and back for Baron because the team is just respawning. Lee Sin and Lucian are back up. They can get some pressure on this bottom one though because it was not kind of low. The regen is only up to just below half at the moment. So that bottom tower did take a lot of damage from Mundo.
That it did. He was able to pressurize that one really, really heavily when Renekton had to go back. And then that teleport coming in right next to the tower, actually placing a ward next to the tower to make sure that they didn't die. The tower couldn't die before Mundo was able to teleport in. A really smart decision there from the Leona, just to make sure that he got there as quick as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Overall, that team fight went really well. They did, like I said, they wasted so much on Kassadin in the end. The Zhonyas came into great effect. He did go down in the end, but a lot was wasted for that. And in the meantime, Caitlyn was left alone. And in these stages of the game, the AD carries nearing a full build now. You can see Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, and Last Whisper all on Caitlyn. She will destroy your team if she's allowed to just sit there and auto attack with that red buff on as well.
Yeah, and we saw, conversely, how much pressure was put onto Lucian. They engaged on him, the Solar Flare was on him. Leona just stood on him for as long as possible, trying to make sure that he didn't have any influence in the fight. And because there was such a beautiful Solar Flare, it really put DFM on the back foot for the entire fight.
Well, it feels, basically, how it feels at the moment is Lucian can get rid of
Lucian
Mundo.
actually, sorry, Lucian jumping in onto Mundo here. Ace in the hole's going to come out. That was
I don't know.
a decision. It was a decision. Oh, and then Lee Sin trying to jump to the lantern. Doesn't get it because it runs out just at the last moment. He's going to go down as well. Dragon's Rage kick. But he places the ward straight away. There's a Pills over Peacemaker. Not going to pick him up. There's a fight going off towards the top as well. Kassadin using that Zhonya's. Here comes the man drop as well. Lux is exceptionally low. Mundo is still alive. Here comes Pantheon. They're going to get down this Renekton. Beautiful solo play. There's the Thresh. There's the Renekton. And that is GG. And it was...
That's the game. Yep, that is the game.
Yeah.
Lucian made a mistake, got himself caught out of position. He went down. Then the decision from Lee to get himself slightly caught out of position. His team collapsed to help out. Cost him the first game. We are going to a game 2 of 3.
Game 2 is coming up right after a quick break, just so we can get ourselves reorganised. Really well played here by Vivian Please. Sorry that we weren't able to catch the first couple of minutes of the game, but what we saw of them was beautiful team play, great compositional play as well. They really thought about this team from picks and bans, decided how they wanted to play it, and commiserations to DFM. Couple of moments that they had really great team fights and they had a good pick comp, but they just seemed to not quite communicate in the way that Vivian Please did.
Yep, the early game seemed to go to their advantage to an extent. They did well during the early stages, capitalised on the team fights to the best of their ability. But generally, the team fights ended up going in the wrong way because of the scaling overall. Scaling did take an influence in that game, as I expected it to do so. But then also it was the survivability factor, the peel that came out from Leona, from Pantheon, from Mundo, that allowed their team to just get the damage off overall. Whereas Lucian and Lux didn't get the same sort of protection, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, thank you all for watching this first game of the EGL Summoners Cup final, EGL Summoners Cup number 22 final. I've been Sona, my co-caster has been Hinduman. We'll be back in about 5 minutes with the second game, and perhaps even a third after that. Thanks for watching.